In the world of criminal justice, time is usually the enemy. The longer a case goes cold, the harder it is to solve. But in late 2025, investigators in Kentucky and Florida proved that even a 42-year head start isn't enough to outrun the law. On a quiet afternoon in November 2025, the 42-year run ended in a driveway. Body camera footage released by the Marion County Sheriff's Office captures the moment investigators confront the woman known as Sharon.
How you doing, Miss Sharon?
Good, how are you?
Notice the immediate confusion. When officers approach, a neighbor or bystander can be heard saying, "Uh-oh, they're coming for you, Sharon."
Well, we're here for you, ma'am. Definitely here for you.
Whoa, why?
The suspect's reaction is one of total disbelief. Criminologists often call this normalization. After 40 years, the fugitive likely believed the legal threat had expired.
We're waiting on the detective to get here, but we have, with all the information that we do have, you have a warrant for your arrest.
They're teasing. They have to be.
Ma'am, we're not.
Oh,
Back up.
oh,
You can go
I'm so
home.
sorry.
No, you're okay.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, go ahead and go home. Thank you.
I don't understand.
Yes, ma'am. So,
You're Sharon, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
all right. So what we're going to do is we're going to put you in handcuffs, okay?
Can I take my dog in and get my husband?
We'll give the dog
Go ahead and get your husband, and we'll get your dog taken care of.
You want me to hold the leash for now? I don't want to. She's, I don't think she's going to get away. Well, you don't have to do that. I'm not going to.
I got to still put you in handcuffs,
Here, let
ma'am.
me have this. I promise I will not hurt your dog under any circumstances.
We'll do it in the front, okay?
If you're in the room, the front, we should move.
63, you can go to the station.
I didn't do anything.
Not to get your watch where it's going to pinch you or anything.
Remember that. Don't let him go because I don't have it.
46,
I don't know what they're doing.
Well, you guys might have to tell me something. What's going on? She has a warrant. All the information that we have.
you don't know, you don't want those.
A warrant for what?
For her arrest. Well, I'm waiting on the detective who can come explain to you just everything in just 1 second, okay? Here, do that real quick.
Case on 37.
Even as handcuffs are applied, her primary concern is mundane. She asks about her dog. Her husband, identified in reports as Reggie, comes out of the house, clearly confused by the sudden police presence. Officers inform him they are waiting for a detective to explain the specific warrant.
What's going on, Sharon?
I don't know anything.
I'll have Mr. Reggie, I'll have the detective come talk to you in just 1 second, okay? I gotta make a phone call, okay? We're not in any kind of rush. Just give us 1 minute. I understand you're in the middle of your driveway. If you want to just step by the truck, that's fine too. Yeah, in the shade. Just give me 1 minute.
Mike, 967. Other units were 1012 detained.
Take a seat for me.
This arrest was non-violent, a stark contrast to the severity of the charges. She was booked into the Marion County Jail before being extradited back to Kentucky. Let me run a throwback of what warranted the arrest, the case and outcome as a whole. This is the story of a disappearance that began in the analog era of 1983 and ended in the digital age of 2025. It involves a woman named Debra Newton, a toddler named Michelle, and a 4-decade life built under the alias Sharon Nealy. Today, we are looking at the legal mechanics of custodial interference, how a deleted person was found, and analyzing the arrest footage from the Villages, Florida. To understand this case, we have to look at the legal environment of 1983. There were no Amber Alerts and no digital databases. In April of that year, Debra Newton informed her family she was moving from Louisville to Georgia for a new job. She took her 3-year-old daughter, Michelle, with her. According to case files, this was framed as a standard relocation. However, when Michelle's father, Joseph, traveled to Georgia to meet them, they were gone. After a final phone call around 1984, all communication ceased. Debra Newton was eventually indicted for custodial interference, a felony charge in Kentucky that applies when a non-custodial parent keeps a child from their lawful guardian. Despite an FBI warrant for unlawful flight to avoid prosecution, the trail went cold. In a massive bureaucratic failure, the case was actually dismissed in 2000 due to a lack of leads, and the victim was removed from missing persons databases in 2005. For 40 years, the suspect lived openly. She assumed the identity of Sharon Nealy, remarried, and settled in the Villages, a massive retirement community in Florida known for its transient population. This choice of location was strategic. In retirement communities, residents often lack deep local roots, making it easier to invent a backstory. Neighbors described Sharon as pleasant, and she lived a seemingly normal life. Meanwhile, the daughter, Michelle, was raised under a false identity. She later told investigators she had no idea she was a missing person. It wasn't until 2025, when a tipster recognized the Sharon alias from a renewed publicity campaign, that the facade crumbled. You might wonder, after 42 years, isn't there a statute of limitations? In many crimes, yes, but Kentucky prosecutors are arguing the doctrine of continuing offense. They argue that the crime of concealing the child didn't stop in 1983. It continued every single day until Michelle was found in 2025. Therefore, the clock never ran out. The victim, now a 46-year-old woman, has been reunited with her biological father. In a twist common to these complex cases, she has stated she intends to support both parents, acknowledging the complicated trauma of finding out her entire life was a lie, while still having a bond with the woman who raised her. Debra Newton faces 1 to 5 years in prison if convicted of the Class D felony. She has pleaded not guilty and is currently out on bond. This case serves as a reminder that in the era of DNA and digital interconnectedness, there is no such thing as erased.